This is Mariusz Konieczny. Today, this is a very unique interview, and I'm titling this video, Let's Help Out a Stranger, because I saw a video by a guy named Spencer Cornelia, and I don't know him. Like, I don't know the guy. I saw some of his videos, and he makes interesting content on YouTube, and he's getting sued for $2 million. He spent about $300,000 of his own money. And I saw that he was asking for help, and I'm like, let's help the guy, because there was a day in my life when I had to go and have surgery, and I asked people for help, and they helped me. And especially this one guy, I remember, he sent me a check for $2,000, and it made me cry. So now, anytime I see people that need help, that make content or do things that are useful for society, I try to help out. So I'm here with Spencer to talk about his journey, talk about him. And like I said, I don't know him, so let's get to know him. Spencer, thanks for doing this.
It's very appreciated. I think when you go through a troubling time, you can appreciate when someone lends a helping hand. You can always appreciate when you see someone else struggling. That's what's the beautiful thing about a YouTube community too, in a way.
Yeah. So, okay. So you have a YouTube channel. I saw, I don't watch you every time, but I saw some videos, very interesting stuff. But like, how do you define yourself? You expose scammers, you expose truth. I mean, just kind of give us a little bit of what it is that you do.
The easiest elevator pitch for me, I think, is I enjoy making videos that uncover bad business, unethical business practices, and fake gurus. That's probably the easiest way to explain it. But extrapolating out, I've also tried to make videos just about topics that I find very interesting. And topics that I think there's an element that the average person may understand the topic, but they don't know other elements to it. For instance, why your favorite athletes go broke, why your favorite musicians go broke. Doing a video upcoming next couple of weeks about Hollywood accounting. So why movies lose money on paper, but they are so profitable if you just look at the numbers. So what's going on?
But you know, let's face it. Like, the content that you make, like, at least from my point of view, I mean, it's risky because you're uncovering things that people might not like it. So, like, when I first saw your videos, I was like, is this guy like brave or is he crazy?
Yeah, there's definitely not all of my videos fall into that category, but there's been enough where I've been essentially the source that people go to. They say, hey, we've been wronged in some way, we feel scammed, and I've been the one to uncover those businesses. And a lot of these businesses on social media are big enough to make a good income and to be wealthy enough to sue, but they're not big enough to really catch the eyes of the authorities. So there's this weird gray area that exists right now where people can be running a 7-figure business, but no one really knows. And they could be doing something crazy unethical, and a lot of people feel wronged in some way. And I found that they don't really have a person standing up for them. And I think that's where my channel comes in. So there's also a lot of fake gurus that I found, a lot of people that are presenting themselves as something they're not. Sports bettors are probably the best example of this. A lot of people presenting themselves as being able to beat the casinos, sports gambling, which is just simply not true. And so I've called a lot of them out. But yeah, in some sense, a lot of them are running a cash flow positive business, and I'm the one sharing that essentially something they're doing is not ethical, or they might not be who they say they are, and there's a risk to that for sure.
How did you come up with this idea at first to even go into this area and start doing videos like this?
Back in 2019, I started making videos about real estate. I was really interested in house flipping and some of these popular shows that were sharing how you can flip houses, and I just felt like they weren't sharing everything that the audience could learn from, or that there was just stuff missing. And so that was the content I enjoyed making. Then I came across this channel called CoffeeZilla. At the time, he was doing the series called Fake Guru Fridays, where he would look at what he deemed to be fake gurus, popular internet marketers that were selling how to get rich. And I felt like I could provide an interesting insight into this marketplace because I saw a lot of these ads too. And I just wanted to do an objective deep dive into a lot of gurus, a lot of people who are popular internet marketers. And so that's how it began. And then as I started doing more and more videos and diving deeper into this world, I found that the fake guru epidemic was getting worse. And so then it just went from there, evolved from there.
Okay, so sometimes you get ideas for for videos from other people that
Absolutely.
have been scammed, right? But now when you have an idea, because I'm sure you have lots of things in your pipeline that don't make it to the video, like how do you decide which one makes it, and maybe like what kind of work do you do to to learn, to do due diligence?
Certainly comes with the first step is figuring out what's going to be the best video. What's really challenging about YouTube is you have to play by YouTube what's going to work on the platform. Because I'd love to just be a news source of someone comes to me and I can share their story. Maybe it's a simple interview. But if you're on YouTube at all as a creator, you understand that you got to play the game. And so unfortunately, I can't cover all stories because it's got to work for YouTube. Because theoretically, if I keep making videos that no one cares about, eventually I'm going to get 3,000 views a video and there's going to be no impact. And so we're actually both me and the people that reach out to me are both incentivized to have my channel succeed. So you look at CoffeeZilla now, look at how much impact he has, because he's made such great content that whenever he can cover a story, there's real impact there. And so that's what matters to me most, is how is it going to perform on YouTube? And I generally need to have media on the person, even better if they're an influencer in some capacity. And when I say media, by the way, I mean like images or videos. If someone comes out and says, hey, there's this one guy that scammed me on social media and he's got 2 pictures, it's just going to be really hard to make a video because people aren't going to buy in that this guy's important or something happened. Just it won't be a good video. So that's what's really important. And then also in regards to due diligence, I need to make sure that it's not just one person that feels victimized. If someone bought a course and didn't implement what they learned, and then they say they got scammed, well, that to me is not a scam. So if one person reaches out, I try to reach out to the source. If someone feels wronged in any way, I try to DM that person and try to get an idea of the full story. I try to look for any media on the topic. If there was someone that was selling something, for instance, if someone was promising, I can teach you how to make $20,000 a month, and a few people have reached out about someone, okay, well, now I've got something because I can see that they're making promises and I can see the result that they didn't deliver. That's probably the best way to explain it.
And is YouTube your full-time job?
Correct.
Is how you make money?
Correct. Yeah, I have real estate on the side. I'm actually on Monday. I'll release a video titled "How Much Money I Make." So if anyone really cares, I dive deep into every number. Yeah, for the most part, YouTube it's taken a dive recently. I make significantly less than I used to, but yeah, for the most part, it is my main focus. Yes.
Okay, so you make this kind of content. It angers some people, obviously, and you got sued 2 years ago for $2 million. You spent almost $300,000 on it. Like, walk us through what happened there.
Sure. So I made 2 videos back in December 2020, February 2021. Those are the 2 videos involved with this case. And I simply interviewed someone. So I found a credible source that was familiar with the subject matter. And it was someone that a few people had reached out and felt they were wronged by this popular internet marketing guru. And so I made a video simply interviewing this source. It is another YouTuber named John Anthony Lifestyle. And so he had a lot of knowledge of this popular guru named Derek Moneyberg. Derek Moneyberg's the plaintiff in my case. And so I simply interviewed John. John said some things that the plaintiffs believed were defamatory. I didn't say anything. It's similar to this, where you're just asking me questions. Hey, man, what do you do? What's your life like? It was just simple questions. I was the one who got sued. It's been 2 years, and I've spent $282,000 on legal fees. I'm really thankful that I was able to ride a trend on YouTube. And so I was able to get a lot of views, a lot of AdSense, and I made a lot of money over the last 2 years, thankfully, from YouTube, just because I was able to get enough views and the AdSense was in a really good place. So I was able to support myself up to this point, but it's been about 5 times more expensive than I ever imagined. I thought I was so ignorant about lawsuits. I didn't know how much they cost. I didn't know the process. I didn't know what would be involved. A little bit on my fault for not at least asking my attorneys, like, give me a very good estimate of how much this will cost. But even then, it's just dragged on, and there's been many different reasons, without going into details, many different reasons during this case for this thing to keep getting extended and to take 2 years. And so unfortunately, it just feels like I've ended up spending pretty much the maximum amount that you would expect. I mean, $282,000 is so insane for a YouTube video. I probably made like $180 of AdSense from that video. Yeah, tough.
Okay, so for the first 2 years, YouTube was going hot. The advertisers were spending a lot of money, so you were able to cover that money. Now now you're asking people to help, and that's why I'm here. I donated to your
Very
GoFundMe
appreciative.
page. Yeah, so now is the reason why you're asking now for people to help is because like of the drop in the YouTube revenue, that you just simply need help and you can't handle it on your own?
Yeah, exactly. I'll cover this in detail in the video on Monday, because I do feel like if you're raising money, you should be incredibly transparent about why you need it, where it's going. It seems like some people in the comments think I'm some like rich millionaire. And so I could tell that there was a disconnect. People thought I made a significant amount of money and now I'm just begging for money. What essentially happened is my YouTube income was between sponsors and AdSense in 2022 was consistently about $10,000 to $25,000. Like if I only brought in 10,000, it'd be a pretty bad month. $25,000. Even in August, I think I grossed 35 or 40 between AdSense and sponsors. July, August were really good months, and so that's why I was able to support myself. And the lawsuit just kept dragging on and on. I wanted to get to the finish line on my own, but then starting in about December, I dropped to I think 4,300 in AdSense, and I had no sponsors. And then throughout this year, in 2023 so far, I just checked my AdSense. I've made $17,000 from AdSense and another 31,000 from sponsors. So all in 2023, I think I've grossed, it was something like 51,000 and I've spent 88,000. And so I've spent 37,000 more than I've made. And thankfully, I've actually reached a point where I should be at about $0 of cash and $0 of credit card debt. I still have some money owed to me, and so I'm waiting on that money to arrive. But I essentially ran into a lot of credit card debt. My income has dropped substantially. And the reason why I'm really raising the money is because at some point the judge is going to rule whether this case is going to be dismissed or need to go to trial. And either pathway, there's going to be some type of appeal. And so without going into every little minute detail, essentially, even if the judge decides to dismiss it, I'm expecting the plaintiff to appeal, which he has the right to do. And that could cost another 30 to 50,000. And so I'm looking at my finances here. And if my income just doesn't magically go up, which I don't see it doing, because I think AdSense and sponsors are going to be pretty dry this year, I'm essentially looking at like a possible $30,000 to $50,000 bill in a couple months that I just don't have. And so this was preemptive. I wanted to raise the money now, because if I was able to do so, at least clear my head, my mental health could at least improve a little bit. I won't be so just stressed like I have been the past 6 to 12 months. And so that's essentially why I'm raising money.
So let's say this, I listened to your video and I listened to your lawyer talk about it. It seems like he's very confident that you're going to win this. But when you win this, here's what came to my mind. It's like, and I was talking with my girlfriend about it. I'm like, okay, if he wins, because she was like, if he wins this, he's going to get his attorney fees back. And I'm thinking, well, what if the guy's broke? What if the guy doesn't have the money to pay him?
That'd be a nightmare. But no, that's not the case. This guy is very wealthy. I'm aware of 8 different properties that he owns. Thankfully, the anti-slap motion is very strong in the state of Nevada. And I'm under the impression, I've heard this from 4 different attorneys, not just my own. Whenever you win the anti-slap motion, this is essentially an anti-slap case. We believe very strongly in our position. Any third party would read through our case. If they had the time to read through our case, they would come to the same conclusion that this is a ridiculous lawsuit against me and would find that the case should be dismissed. However, you never can be 100% sure with the judge. But let's assume that the judge sees it as it is and dismisses the case. Thankfully, when you win the anti-slap motion, you will win your attorney's fees back in the state of Nevada. I've been told that you can actually file liens against properties and force sales. And so the fact that he's got significant equity in 8 different properties, he said on a podcast that he has a portfolio of $20 to $30 million in the stock market, $250,000, $280,000, $300,000, whatever it comes out to be. It's a significant amount of money to me. I'm under the impression that it's not to him. And so I fully anticipate getting the money back, assuming the judge rules in our favor.
Since the lawsuit, did you change the way you make your videos as a result of this?
Yeah, man, that's a great question, because it absolutely has. What's unfortunate is I've been fully vulnerable. I have no leverage. Now, I've never made videos that would hold me liable for defamation. I've never been concerned about losing a case. The problem is anyone can sue anyone, and you're going to have to spend money to defend yourself. And so in this country, like if 10 people all of a sudden wanted to sue you, you'd have to defend yourself against all 10 cases. It's so unfortunate. Now, if you can defend yourself, you'll be okay, because in most stupid cases, you'll get your money back. But that doesn't change the fact that you're going to have to go through some trouble getting there. And as a guy who is, I feel like, on the forefront of making videos about fake gurus and people that are doing things unethically that have money, yeah, it's made me concerned for real. It's absolutely, I hate using the word softer in any way, but it's made me into more of an objective. Like I haven't been making like fun videos where you kind of really poke the bear, meaning it's easy to look at a subject of a video and really present them as the villain, and that's easy to do. And I can tell jokes at people's expense all day, but I've also realized that that's not the best business practice, because if that person gets upset enough and they want to file a lawsuit, yeah, that's just a risk. And being involved in one lawsuit means you probably are going to be really struggling if you have another.
I just don't know how you have energy to put out the content that you do going through this.
Yeah, man, I don't give up. But it's something that I'm drained. I'm fully burnt out. I'm fully comfortable explaining that. Like, my mental health's been 0 out of 10 for a year. But when you're dealing with a lawsuit, or you're dealing with anything in life that's a huge expense, you said you were struggling at one point. Like when you're confronted with something, as humans, you're either, when your back's against the wall, at some point you don't have an option. And so you just keep going. I think we're all way more powerful than we realize. It's not until we're put in a situation where our back's against the wall where we realize how powerful we are. Yeah, I've been struggling quite a bit, but at the same time, like, I fully believe I'm going to win, and I think it's going to make for a great story. And so that, I think that has carried me throughout this period, and it's going to be the biggest moment of life when I realize we won.
I heard about your lawsuit from Echoes from Above. I mean, I interviewed him on my YouTube channel, so I watched his videos, and he had a video about you. That's kind of, I was like, wow, I want to see if I can, help you out. But I was wondering, because now Echoes, by making a video as a YouTuber, he helped you out. Now I am a YouTuber. I'm trying to help you out. I was wondering if there's other YouTubers, especially maybe like the large YouTubers, if they reached out with the helping hand.
Not yet. Scott Schaefer donated, which was much appreciated. He's kind of in the same space. I think he realizes how dangerous this space can be, and that it could happen to any of us who make these critical videos. But no, I don't know if that many people have seen it. I hope it gets picked up by commentators or anyone who has a bigger YouTube channel that wants to discuss this. But no, I haven't had anyone reach out. I think the only mistake, not necessarily that it was a mistake, but just a creative decision, was to make it a podcast, whereas most people make the I'm getting sued videos into like 8 minutes. And so it makes it easier for people to comment on it or to react to it. And so I'm trying to think maybe strategically in another month or two, maybe chopping it up and making like a more digestible video. And then even a month or two later, maybe kind of let this one play out. And then maybe some people haven't even seen it or been given a chance to click on it. And so maybe I make that into an 8 to 12 minute video, more digestible video for commentators to react to it. Yeah, hopefully.
Okay, so now let's wrap it up. Tell me, how can my audience, if they feel like they want to help, what can they do to help you?
If you find my channel, Spencer Cornelia on YouTube, if you watch the video and feel in any way that you can help, it'd be much appreciated. I essentially have a video titled, I'm being sued by a fake guru for $2 million. And yeah, if you like my stuff, if you want to help out, it's much appreciated.
Okay, great. I will, for those of you that want to help, in the description below, I have a link to his GoFundMe page. Like I said at the beginning, I donated myself because, like I said before, I was helped once when I needed help. I think that Spencer does benefit to society. So I felt like it's the right thing to do. And, and we got to spend 20 minutes. I got to know somebody new, because at the beginning of the video, he was a stranger. Now he's not so. So if you can, help out. If you can't, don't.
Yeah, I'm very, very appreciative. And one thing that I was hoping to do is that in the event that everything works out and I'm able to get all of my money back. And then there's, of course, this excess money from the fund. I don't know for sure, but I wanted to start a fund essentially called Slap Back, for slap lawsuits, Slap Back. I would really love to help creators in any way for these frivolous lawsuits. We're seeing something going around with this guy, Alex Edson, which seems to be kind of trending right now. He's upsetting a lot of creators. Some creators are worried that they'll face a lawsuit. And I would love to be kind of on the forefront of that as a creator that people can turn to if they feel like they've been sued or damaged in any way. I would love to help out in any way that I can. That's, of course, in the future. I mean, this is going to take a lot of time, but that's something I'd love to plan.
And now you also know a lot about lawsuits.
I sure do. It has helped my content a lot because I think some of my biggest videos recently are involving lawsuits.
Well, thanks for doing this. I'm glad I could help. Obviously, I'm a small channel, but I think if we all stick together, we could make a difference. So I'm glad I could help.
Yeah, man. Thank you again, and thanks for having me.